Hey, welcome to Vance Tried It. Today, we're going to be making a lemonade pie. Now, traditionally, the lemonade pie is a frozen pie. So we make it, put it in the freezer, set it out, let it warm up for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then eat it still pretty frozen. But I'm going to be making a change today. I've not tried this before. I'm going to be making a change today that theoretically will let us not have it frozen, but just have it refrigerated. And that change is I'm going to be adding some cream cheese. So if you want to make this as a frozen treat, you can do it without putting in the cream cheese. But we're going to try the cream cheese today. And here's what we're going to do. This makes enough for 2 pies. So we're going to make it. We're going to put one in the freezer. We're going to put one in the refrigerator. Both ways, we're going to have to let it set in there for at least 4 hours, overnight if you'd like. And then we're going to try both of them and see which of them works better. So here we go. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to start off by making some homemade whipped cream. So I have here 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. We're just going to put this in our stand mixer. Put our whisk on here. Okay, our whipped cream is all ready. Let's just get that going right there. Now we're going to take this and just put it into a bowl. Set it off to the side for a minute because we will want to get some other stuff done before we incorporate this back into our pie filling. Now, you can use some Ready Whip if you would like, but here's the thing about that. That is not really whipped cream. It tastes delicious, but it is whipped oil. And so I just don't want to put whipped oil in any of my desserts. So I pretty much always want to use my own homemade whipped cream. Now, if I'm putting it in a pie, I just whip the cream straight up. But if I am going to be using it as a topping, let's say I'm making some pumpkin pie and want to make some whipped cream to go on top of that, I will take and I will put some confectioner sugar into the heavy whipping cream before I beat it, and that will give it a sweet flavor to put on top. But since we're putting this in a pie, we're not going to be adding any sugar to this, and so that is going to be ready to go. And now our next step, and we're just going to use this same bowl here. I'm going to go ahead and add this cream cheese. And like I said, this is what is going to make this be able to stand up in the refrigerator and not have to be frozen. So we put that in there. And then we have some lemonade frozen concentrate. And we're going to put that in there, all frozen up just like that. Okay, now to this, I'm going to add a couple of 14-ounce cans of sweetened condensed milk. Let's get that going in there. Just like this. Get as much out of that as we can. And now we want to get all the goodness off of our spatula here. Okay. And now we're going to switch to the flat beater. And we're going to get this all mixed up. Now you want to start it off really slow here and let that cream cheese start to get broken up a little bit. And then once you can see the cream cheese is getting broken up in there and starting to break apart, then you can start turning up your speed. So we're going to go ahead and get this all mixed up. But hey, while we're doing that, would you do me a favor? Go down in the comment section and just let me know, what type of pie would you like to see me make? And then here's another question. Would you generally prefer homemade whipped topping, or do you go ahead and buy the whipped topping already made? So let me know what you usually do and what you'd like to see me make. And hey, while you're down there, would you please go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and ring that bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. We'll get back to you as soon as this is all mixed up. Okay, so we are all mixed up here now, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and incorporate our whipped cream back in here, but we're going to do that by hand just because this is makes such a big batch that I'm afraid if we try to do it with our mixer here, it's just going to make a mess because this is going to be a really full bowl here. So put our whipped cream back in here and just start folding it in really nicely. Just like this. Nice and gentle. We want to make sure we get all the way down to the bottom. And off the edges here. And what we're really looking for is we're just looking for when we don't see any white streaks in here. That's going to tell us that this is really all incorporated in here. So it doesn't take long at all. In fact, we have it right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just fill up these pie pans. And we'll go back and forth between them just so we can get kind of an even spread in here. More in this one. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to put our lids back on here. And like I said, one of these we're going to put in the freezer, and the other one we're going to put in the refrigerator. And then we're going to come back this afternoon, and we're going to just see, boy, that pinch back down on there somehow. We're going to see which of these works better with the cream cheese in it. Does it work better in the refrigerator or in the freezer? So I'll see you in about 4 hours. Okay, so we have our pies set up. It's been about 5 hours, and I've gone ahead and cut up a couple slices. As you can see, they both hold up really well. So it does make this refrigerated one hold up really well. So let's go ahead and see what the difference is just in flavor and feel. And we're going to start off with this frozen one. It's been sitting out of the freezer for about 15 minutes, which you do kind of want to probably let it set out at least a little bit so it's not super hard in there. But let's give this one a try. Mm. I mean, the flavor is right on point. Has that little bit of tartness from the lemonade. It's just the right amount of sweetness. The crunchiness from that crust all just feels so good in your mouth. And then the frozen, it is in the 90s here today, and it feels warm outside, and you come inside and you have yourself a nice frozen pie. But now let's see about the one that was in the refrigerator. Mm. And that's good too. But it is different, even though it's the same pie. Just the difference between freezing it and refrigerating it does make a difference. Not really in the flavor, but just in the experience. I would hesitate to say that one of them is better than the other. But look, that's the whole genius of doing it this way, is it gives you options. If you make it the first way without the cream cheese, you don't really have any options. You're going to have to put that in the freezer because it's not going to set up well enough in the refrigerator. But this, you have some options. You don't have to worry about it. If you're going to take it on a picnic somewhere, it's going to be in your ice chest for a couple hours. You don't have to worry about it. It's going to start to break down. You know it's not, or you can just put it right in your refrigerator and have it good to go. Mm. Bottom line, look, I tried it, and you should too. Now the only question is, are you going to try it frozen or refrigerated?